The somatic gene therapy is done on somatic cells is called somatic gene therapy. Early detection is not possible by these methods. Through the process of gene therapy, we can rectify the malfunctioning cells. What is polymerase chain reaction? This is the technique which is widely used in the field of biotechnology for molecular diagnosis. Whenever you alter the gene structure, you get a different gene. So that particular gene will have different qualities or behavior. Hello everyone, welcome back to session 4 of this chapter called Biotechnology and its Applications. In the last session, we studied about one very important application, that is use of gene therapy. So there are two types of gene therapy. One is called somatic gene therapy and the other one is called germline gene therapy, where the somatic gene therapy is done on somatic cells is called somatic gene therapy, and the gene therapy is done on the germ cells or the sex cells is called as germline gene therapy. So moving on to the further important applications of biotechnology. I think at this point of time where we all are facing the coronavirus, one very important thing is the coming out with the proper vaccine to cure this coronavirus disease. So the application of biotechnology is very important at this point of time. The new techniques that are implemented to come out with a better vaccine that can fight against this deadly virus. So let us move on to the next very important aspects of biotechnology, that is molecular diagnosis. Like if we stick on to the old conventional method, maybe it will not be feasible for curing many diseases. So we need to come out with the modern techniques, modern technology and scientific methods to cure many diseases. So one such is called the molecular diagnosis. Diagnosis of a disease is very important for proper treatment and for proper medication. So in that point of view, a very important thing is coming out with a proper diagnostic method. Now let us understand what are the conventional methods of molecular diagnosis that have been done to diagnose the diseases. As you know, nowadays many people are facing many kinds of diseases, may it be cancer, may it be AIDS, may it be SCID. So how are we going to diagnose such dreadful diseases? So by applying the modern techniques or modern methods also, we can come out with a diagnostic method. So what are the three very important conventional methods or the good old methods that have been implemented to identify or diagnose a disease? First one is called serum analysis and the second one is called urine analysis. So these two were, that is the blood analysis and the urine analysis. But as we know, these two are the conventional methods that are implemented for diagnosis. But what is the disadvantage of these conventional methods of molecular diagnosis? Because early detection is not possible. For example, like right now, if you go for a corona test, immediately we don't get the test. So they take some time to come out with the results. So that is again a drawback. So it may spread further till we get back the results, whether the person is corona positive or negative. So in that case, I think the detection should be very fast. So the results of the test should come out fast so that proper treatment can be done. So that is the great disadvantage of the conventional methods of molecular diagnosis. That is, early detection is not possible by these methods. So it will take some time to get the results, and at the same time, it may prove a little bit harmful as it may spread. So that is the reason why we cannot stick on to the good old conventional methods of molecular diagnosis. So we need to come out with the modern techniques or modern methods of diagnosing the diseases. So here you can see the molecular diagnosis, the old way. Patient tissue sample is taken, then it is taken to a pathology lab. You know what is pathology lab? Pathology lab is a lab where the diseases of plants and animals is diagnosed. For example, if it is plant pathology, plant diseases are identified, and animal pathology, it is called as like we identify the diseases of the animals. So here, this is the old method. So tissue of the patient is taken and then it is identified. that is pathology. So what is the new method? Patient tissue sample or blood sample is taken, and it is like proteomics is done and genomics is done. Then with the mass spectrometry, then we get a proteomic image. Then we also get the gene chip and the microarray image. So this is the modern method. So the detection will be very fast, like when we implement the modern method of molecular diagnosis when compared to the conventional methods like going for the blood analysis and the urine analysis, which are the good old methods of molecular diagnosis. Moving on to the technique used in the diagnosis of some bacterial and viral diseases in human beings. So now let us move on to the techniques that are used in the diagnosis of some bacterial and viral diseases in human beings. So now, for example, like day by day, we are being prone to a good number of viral and bacterial diseases. One such is the coronavirus. So what is the methodology or what is the technique that is implemented to diagnose such viral diseases or bacterial diseases? One such is called recombinant DNA technology, that is through autoradiography, rDNA technology. And second one is polymerase chain reaction, where we can get multiple copies of the gene by taking a small sample of DNA. For example, like at the crime place, a very small DNA would have been found, but it can be multiplied many a times by using this very important technology called polymerase chain reaction. Then one more called enzyme-linked sorbent assay, ELISA test, which is a test which is done to diagnose whether the person is AIDS positive or negative. As we know, AIDS is one such dreadful disease which is spreading fast because of various reasons. As we know, what is the mode of transmission of such sexually transmitted diseases like AIDS? So one such methodology for diagnosing AIDS is ELISA test, which is called enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay test. So what are the modern techniques that are used in the diagnosis of some bacterial and viral diseases in human beings? One is called rDNA technology, that is through autoradiography. And the second one is called PCR, that is polymerase chain reaction. And the third one is called enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay, which is widely used for testing the AIDS patients. Moving on, here you can see the diagram here, infection of viral and non-viral containing therapeutic elements. So here the removal of the cells, then correction of the cells, autologous transplantation of corrected cells. See how the technology has improved. As we know, through the process of gene therapy, we can rectify the malfunctioning cells. For example, like if a person's pancreas is not functioning properly and the pancreas of that diseased person fails to produce sufficient insulin, then we can take the cell gene from a healthy person and transfer it into the diseased person so that the diseased person's pancreatic cells will start functioning properly. So that is what has been done in the field of biotechnology, like rectifying the malfunctioning cells and correcting the malfunctioning cells through gene therapy. So recombinant DNA technology used in the diagnosis of some bacterial viral diseases in human beings. Now let us see what are the steps that are involved in rDNA technology, which is also called as autoradiography. So in this technique, a single-stranded DNA or RNA is tagged with radioactive molecule, which is called as a probe, and is allowed to hybridize to its complementary DNA in a clone of cells, followed by detection using autoradiography. So what is the first very important step in rDNA technology, or whether it, as I said, it is also called as autoradiography? In this technique, a single-stranded DNA or RNA is tagged with radioactive molecule, which is called as a probe, and is allowed to hybridize to its complementary DNA in a clone of cells, followed by detection using autoradiography. So the clone having the mutated gene will hence not appear on the photographic film because the probe will not have complementary with the mutated gene. So what will happen? The clone having the mutated gene will hence not appear on the photographic film because the probe will not have complementary with the mutated gene. So what is the technique that is used in the diagnosis of some bacterial and viral diseases in human beings? One is called rDNA technology, which is also called autoradiography. Second one is called PCR, that is polymerase chain reaction. And the third one is called ELISA, that is enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay test. So what is the technique that is used in rDNA technology, which is also called as autoradiography? In this technique, a single-stranded DNA or RNA is tagged with radioactive molecule that is called probe and is allowed to hybridize to its complementary DNA in a clone of cells, followed by detection using autoradiography. So the clone having the mutated gene will hence not appear on the photographic film because the probe will not have complementary with the mutated gene. Then what is polymerase chain reaction? This is the technique which is widely used in the field of biotechnology for molecular diagnosis. So what is this polymerase chain reaction all about? So it is one of the molecular diagnostic technique and it is adapted if the amount of DNA is very small. See, even small traces of DNA segment can be multipled. So multiples of that DNA segment can be obtained through this very important technique called polymerase chain reaction. So what is polymerase chain reaction, or short form is PCR? It is one of the molecular diagnostic technique and it is adopted if the amount of DNA is small. Using the PCR, any piece of DNA can be quickly amplified. What do you mean by amplification? Multiply. So you can get copies of that particular DNA segment, multiple copies of that DNA segment. So even a small segment, and I think all of us know, particularly in the technique called DNA fingerprinting, where a small traces of DNA are found at the site of crime. So in that case, even that small piece of DNA can be taken for this for forensic science and can be multiplied. So by taking a small segment of DNA also, we can produce multiple copies of that DNA through PCR reaction. And DNA probes are then used to detect the different defects. So here you can see how the technology has been done through polymerase chain reaction. So you can produce multiple copies of the DNA. Then the use of polymerase reaction. So now let us understand how this PCR proves to be a very, very important technique for molecular diagnosis. So it is used to detect HIV in suspected AIDS patient. As I said, particularly this AIDS acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, which is a sexually transmitted disease, or it may be transmitted through blood samples or through blood transfusion or from the mother to the developing fetus. But this technique called polymerase chain reaction is used to detect HIV, whether the person is HIV positive or negative. So this is one very important test which is very important for diagnosing a very dreadful disease, that is AIDS. Next, it is used to detect mutations in suspected cancer patient. Yes, of course, I think the next very dreadful disease is cancer. But the very reason why many people are dying because of cancer is earlier diagnosis is not possible in cancer, and usually the cancer patients will be detected with the disease almost at the last stage of the advanced stage of the disease. So in that case, definitely this polymerase chain reaction is going to reaction technique is going to come to the rescue of a cancer patient. So this early diagnosis, as I said, detection is very, very important. First, detection of the disease, and then that is what is detection of the diagnosing the disease is very important for proper treatment and for proper medication. So in that case, this is one such technique which comes to the rescue of the cancer patients or suspected cancer patients. Then it is used to identify many other genetic disorders. I think all of us know genetic disorders are the disorders which are right from the birth. So these are called as congenital disorders. So even it is very difficult to identify such congenital disorders where we can also rectify such congenital. We usually say that congenital disorders are very difficult to rectify. But in that case, I think the early detection of the genetic disorders through this PCR technique will also help to overcome the defects that are caused through genetic disorders. Then enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay, as I said, this is a very, very important technique that is used to detect the HIV patients. So this technique is based on the principle of antigen and antibody reaction, just like how we identify the blood groups based on antigen and antibody reaction. So this ELISA test is also based on the principle of antigen and antibody reaction. And this technique helps in identifying the pathogens, particularly the disease-causing organisms, by the presence of antigens or by detecting the antibodies synthesized against the pathogen. So this is not only a test which is used for diagnosing the AIDS patient, for many other diseases also it can be applied. So the uses of polymerase chain reaction, it is used to detect HIV in suspected AIDS patient, and it is used to detect mutations in suspected cancer patients, and it is used to identify many other genetic disorders. So what is the technique that is applied in ELISA? So in this technique is based on the principle of antigen and antibody reaction, and this technique helps in identifying the pathogens by the presence of antigens or by detecting the antibodies synthesized against the pathogen. Moving on to the next very important technology, application of biotechnology, is genetically modified plants and animals, and particularly the genetically modified animals which are called as transgenic animals. So they are called as genetically modified animals. Organisms also we can call genetically modified organisms, genetically modified GMO. So this transgenic plants and animals have great economic importance at this particular point of time. So now let us understand what are these transgenic animals. So here you can see the mice. So the transgenic mice. What do you mean by transgenic mice? Genetically modified. As I said, what is gene manipulation? What is genetic engineering? Manipulation of genes. You can play with genes. You can alter the gene structure for your desired to get your desired gene. So that is what has been done in the field of biotechnology, and one such application is the transgenic animals. Now let us understand what is this transgenic animals. So these are the animals that have had their DNA manipulated to possess and express an extra foreign gene. So what is it? These are the animals that have had their DNA manipulated. What do you mean by manipulation? Alteration. You can alter the gene structure. So obviously we know whenever you alter the gene structure, you get a different gene. So that particular gene will have different qualities or behavior. So to possess and express an extra foreign gene. So examples, what are the examples you are going to give for transgenic animals? You can give an example of transgenic rats, that is genetically modified rats, then genetically modified rabbits, then genetically modified pigs, and genetically modified sheep, cows, fish, etc. As you know, all these are commercially important animals, and obviously they'll have a lot of economic importance. So in that case, these animals are genetically modified to get a desired character. Then transgenic mice, as we know, and I think all of us know in many research labs, particularly the albino rats, the mice, then guinea pigs, all these are used in the field of research. So definitely the transgenically, that is the genetically modified animals are going to help in many ways. So one such is transgenic mice is the most existing transgenic animal. So what are transgenic animals? These are the animals that have had their DNA manipulated to possess and express an extra gene. So example you can give transgenic rats, rabbits, pigs, sheep, cows, fish, etc. So transgenic mice is the most existing transgenic animal. Now, what are the benefits and applications of transgenic animals? How are they benefiting? Are they really, these genetically modified organisms are having a lot of benefit to human mankind? Then if so, in what way? So transgenic animals are used to study normal physiology and development. So for example, like when you modify the animals, I think all of us know the behavior will be totally little bit different. So in that case, you'll be able to study the normal physiology and development and compare it with the normal ones. Then study of diseases, then study of biological products, then study of vaccine safety. Yes, of course. I think all of us know that whenever a vaccine is developed, first it is introduced into the animals. And if it is successful in the animals, then it is introduced into the human body, or it is experimented on human body. Directly it is not experimented on human body because it may prove fatal if it fails, if the vaccine fails to work. So for example, right now I think all of us know, like in news media and all, we are getting the information that the COVID-19 vaccine has been developed and shortly it is going to come to the market and be made available even to a common man. But we don't know how far it is true, but definitely a vaccine is going to be developed against this coronavirus. So before they use the vaccine, or before they experiment the vaccine on the human body, first they are experimented on the animals. And if at all, if it is successful in animals, then only it is going to be experimented on human beings. So study of vaccine safety and study of chemical safety testing, even chemicals or drugs that are developed in many pharmaceutical industries also will be first experimented on these animals. So what are the benefits or applications of transgenic animals? So transgenic animals are used to study normal physiology and development, study of diseases, study of biological products, study of vaccine safety, and study of chemical safety testing. So here I think all of us know like how the transgenic sheep has been developed to get more of the the wool or maybe the meat. Hope you have understood all the concepts what I have explained in this particular session of this very interesting chapter called Biotechnology and Applications. So what am I going to deal in the coming session? So we are going to study about the benefits and applications of the transgenic animals, particularly in the field of medicine. Already have discussed about it, but we are going to throw more light on this particular aspect of what are the benefits and applications of transgenic animals, particularly in the field of medicine. And also we are going to study about the biological products. Hope you have understood all the concepts what I have explained in this particular session. So I'll be back with the last concepts of this particular chapter called Biotechnology and Applications. Till then, goodbye and thank you.